10 Violent Video Games to Avoid. These are the worst video games for kids this season. Be sure they're not on your list. Number 1, Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2 takes gamers through a horrifically scary battle for their lives in an alien-infested world. Players must fight scary aliens to stay alive and battle the Necromorph abominations using updated weapons and tools to defeat them. In the gaming environment referred to as the Sprawl, players must avoid or kill the enemies that are manifested as horrific corpselike. Number 2, Mortal Kombat. The name alone should be enough to keep you away. Mortal Kombat is a wildly popular franchise in the violent video game category that includes the most realistic and gory graphics that go way beyond what you would expect. The latest version of the game features enhanced graphics, multiplayer functionality, for tag team combat, and violent killing. Number 3, Medal of Honor. Based on a real, ongoing war, this game hits close to home for many families and is much too violent for children. Hyper-realistic graphics recreate modern-day war zones in Afghanistan. Soldiers' bodies crumple authentically and gush blood one shot. Kill counts are often high enough to populate a small town, not to mention the rampant profanity. Number 4, Call of Duty: Black Ops. Set during the Cold War in the late 1960s, Call of Duty: Black Ops has players engaging in extraordinarily realistic military operations in countries including Vietnam, the USSR and Hong Kong. Its urban and rural firefights are among the most frenetic and intense ever created for a video game. Number 5, Fallout: New Vegas. This post-apocalyptic cross between a role-playing game and a first-person shooter is all about freedom of choice. Not only can players decide how they want to interact with non-player characters, selecting dialogue options that may be rude or result in sexually suggestive conversations, they also choose which part of their enemies' bodies they want to shoot in slow motion, potentially wounding or blowing off specific limbs. Clearly. Number 6, Castlevania: Lords of Shadow. Far from the simplistic side-scrolling Castlevania games that parents grew up with, the latest entry in this decades-old franchise is set in a highly believable 3D world and delivers sometimes shocking levels of blood and gore. The game's hero, a member of a brotherhood of holy warriors, wields a crucifix-shaped whip handle that contains a long length of chain blessed with holy water which he uses to lacerate enemies, creating fountains of blood in the process. Players will also see topless female fantasy creatures, such as fairies. Number 7, Assassin's Creed: Brotherhood. Not only do players take on the role of a killer for hire in this 15th century tale set in a remarkably true-to-life Rome, they have the ability to recruit non-player characters for a fraternity of assassins. Lifelike sword fights see players slashing and skewering foes with realistic crimson effects. Special moves, such as throwing an axe at an enemy's head, have equally bloody results. The extreme nature of the violence combined with mature themes and dialogue make this an adults-only experience. Number 8, Dead Rising 2. This zombie battling game has all of the hallmarks of interactive entertainment for grown-ups. For starters, the violence is wildly over the top. A motorbike with chainsaws duct taped to its handles is just one of the game's scores of imaginative weapons used to dismember the dead. Plus, the streets of the Vegas-like city that players explore are filled with scantily clad cocktail waitresses, and Playboy ads are in the malls. Number 9, Halo: Reach. Players' aggression may be directed against aliens, and our heroes may refrain from using coarse language, but there's no getting around the fact that the latest entry in this popular Xbox exclusive franchise is, like its predecessors, all about glorified violence. Number 10, Naughty Bear. Don't let its teen rating or the fact that it stars nothing but plush teddy bears fool you. Naughty Bear is one of the most violent and disturbing games of the year. It's about a sociopathic bear who spends his time choking his peers with golf clubs. slamming their heads in car doors and frightening them until they commit suicide. The absence of blood and gore is like removing one letter from the curse word.